Is it me, or are black tiled pools terrifying? Okay, I'm gonna need someone in that pool for me to better see how much of a void this feels like. Hello everybody, welcome back to EmKay. My name's Jack, I'll be your little voicey man for today. Join me in learning things from Damn That's Interesting, and you too will be able to finally look cool in front of your only friend/mum. Let's go! This woman never existed. An AI-generated image. Oh, would you look at that? There she is. Existing. I don't mean to get too philosophical here, but if a photo doesn't prove something existing, then there's a lot of things in the pre-1900s that I feel are now up for debate. How the power lines at Lake Pontchartrain Train Choo-Choo, Louisiana, USA, simply and clearly show the curvature of the Earth.
And that don't prove nothing. Clearly, it just shows us that Louisiana gets powered from hell. And I don't blame them, there's a lot of fuel to burn.
The great eared nightjar is pretty much a dragon bird. Oh my god, y'all know how much I love dragons.
I want the bird, I want this bird, I want this bird, I want this bird, I want this bird. It's like a little night fairy. Oh my god!
I need to know where these guys are. Where? Southeast Asia. Okay. Australia is southeast and of Asia. That counts. Okay, a frantic Googling of whether or not these things can be purchased as animals. All I've come up with is Colnex.com stamps for sale. So that's a huge disappointment. Moving on. Planets versus the sun in context of why we can't build a Dyson sphere.
Now get out of here with your reasonable science. It's just debunking our hopes and dreams, you loser.
So what? We don't even have the resources to possibly achieve this. So don't let your dreams be dreams. The 1985 movie Clue was released theatrically with 3 completely different endings. Each screening would randomly show one. The home video release contained all 3 endings. Can movies get back to doing this kind of thing, please? Thank you. Fruit extinct 2,000 years ago is resurrected by scientists. The Judean date palm, a tree mentioned in the Bible and the Quran, has completely disappeared from the world thousands of years ago. But some seeds recovered by archaeologists have finally been brought back to life. That's great, scientists, and I'm happy for y'all, but this is exactly how we start an ancient zombie plague from rising up. A water-damaged copy of Alice in Wonderland, which grew fungi. Or fungi.
Fungi.
Wowee, visual torture for book enthusiasts. Though I'm sure it's still not as horrifying as when someone opens a book and bends the covers as they read. 50% of Canadians live south of the red line. Well, clearly Canadians suck at feng shui. I imagine a Canadian's house is just empty and barren except for one corner where everything's stuffed into it. A Korean news program actually films atop a building instead of using a green screen. I commend the authenticity, but this is one of those things where I just wonder, would it not be cheaper and easier just to film it indoors? I mean, a green screen, look, what, like $250? You're telling me you can afford to bring all the equipment out there, but you can't afford just $250. Bill Gates once released a jar full of mosquitoes into the audience during a TED Talk on malaria, stating, "There's no reason only poor people should have the experience."
What if it was bees? Or like hornets?
There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
Just releases a bunch of lions into the audience.
There's no reason only antelopes should have the experience. I mean, I get the message, but this is exactly how villains create themselves. Just getting terrible flashbacks to the Joker in the animated Dark Knight comic book series. Did you know? Several decades after the release of Jaws in 1975, Lee Fierro, who played Miss Kintner, walked into a seafood restaurant and noticed that the menu had an Alex Kintner sandwich. She commented that she had played his mother so many years ago. The owner of the restaurant ran out to meet her, and he was none other than Jeffrey Voorhees, who had played her son. They had not seen each other since the original movie shoot. Oh, what a wholesome reunion. Though the legitimacy of it is rather... fishy. Oldest surviving pair of Levi's jeans, 1879. Found in a gold mine 136 years later. Well, if you're ever curious about the durability of jeans, there you go. World's fattest man in 1890 was large enough to be considered a freak show in the circus. Well, good thing he banked on himself back then, because nowadays he would not get much money. Terrible, honestly. I mean, these days he just wouldn't be able to find a job. Too many people treating him like just another human being, offering him help and services. God, it's just what has happened to this world? I brought my car battery inside to charge it from -30 Celsius, and the frost showed me the acid level in each cell. well. There you go, kids. Want to check your acid levels? Just chuck a car battery in the freezer. Done. Oh, totally. Yeah, safe, guys. Go ahead, do it. Don't actually do it. A teenager who was dying of an incurable illness had the single wish of meeting Luke Skywalker. The disease had eroded his memory and devolved his cognitive functions to the point where he could not realize that Luke was fictional. Mark Hamill agreed to meet him in character and answered questions about Princess Leia and spaceships as Luke Skywalker. If Mark Hamill could do a solid and just not follow the footsteps of Carrie Fisher in the fact of passing away, that'd be great. Thanks, buddy. This mansion was built on top of this skyscraper.
Oh my god, we get it. You play Minecraft.
Doug Hegdahl, a U.S. Navy officer, was held as a prisoner of war during the Vietnam War. His captors called him the incredibly stupid one because he appeared to be incapable of reading or writing. After being released, Hegdahl provided critical information on 256 other prisoner of wars that he had memorized to the tune of Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Emma Scholl saved all of her 6 kids from their burning home, running room to room, floor to floor. Even though she was bleeding and losing skin, hair burnt like coal, she kept going. Emma got 93% burn injuries, yet still survived. Super mum indeed. This is clearly a descendant of the Black Knight from the Holy Grail. What? It's just a flesh wound. What's something that seems obvious within your profession, but the general public seems to misunderstand? That $35 that scientific journals charge you to read a paper goes 100% to the publisher, 0% to the authors. If you just email us to ask for our papers, we are allowed to send them to you for free, and we will genuinely be delighted to do so. This person's favorite drawings they did in 2021. There's something so amazing about this kind of work that just actually infuriates me. How dare you confuse my eyes with this optical illusion? Joseph DeCrow and his self-portraits, 1700s. Wait, self-portraits? That is... Dude! I always thought these were just like memes or just fake images done by some modern artist. Dude is a goddamn inspiration, I'll tell you that. He'd be a master of YouTube thumbnails. In 2021, it was selected that preservation in the United States National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress, stay with me, as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. And what was considered so? In 1988, late Israel I'm sorry, man. This guy called Sound Studio at 3 a.m. and asked if he could come record because he had an idea. He was so polite. The studio owner said yes, even though it was too late. 15 minutes later, he showed up, sang, and played his ukulele and recorded Over the Rainbow in just one take. So, like, in case it wasn't clear, his song, his recording is the national treasure. In 1973, 2 men went to police claiming to have been abducted by aliens. The police thought they were lying, so they left them alone in the room with a secret recording device. To their surprise, they kept on talking about what happened and how scared they were. Well, hey, if criminals were literally murdered for the sake of theater back in the day, I wouldn't hold these guys against the fact that they're just extremely committed method actors. After the White House claimed for more than a year that Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein were making up stories and creating fictional sources, here they are, watching President Richard Nixon resign on television. I love how you know that they've won. They know that they've won, but they still have their hands over their mouths as if they're still quite anxious as to whether or not this is all real. Russia doesn't have Santa Claus. We have Father Frost. Much more badass. Yes, hello, Western culture? Yes, I'd like an upgrade, please. What do you mean, why? This Santa has a staff! He's literally what I've always theorized for years. Santa is clearly a wizard! For 4 years, Hugh Grant pretended to be his own talent agent. He communicated with people using a fake email account under the name James Howe Ely, and even disguised his voice on the phone with a Scottish accent. I saved myself an absolute fortune, he said when speaking about this. That was totally his voice. Don't even question it, guys. The Naga Cave in Thailand looks like a giant petrified snake. Ooh, Mother Gaia Earth herself, you are doing us dirty here. As if there wasn't some giant-ass snake that some local tribespeople worshipped. A stealth bomber in flight caught on Google Maps here at this location. Go ahead, have fun with that. Caught in 4K! In Finland, you are given a top hat and sword when you get a PhD diploma.
Emily, we're moving to Finland. Emily, We're moving to Finland. Pack your things.
Wisteria Wall. Okay, clearly someone's watched a bit too much of Demon Slayer. Don't you worry, residents of number 10. Michael Jackson Demon ain't coming after you. Free Wi-Fi. What? The Wi-Fi password is the first digits of the answer. I hate you. During the Prohibition era, the wine industry released Grape Brix, which was concentrated grape juice with a warning that literally had the directions to make wine. It read, after dissolving a brick in a gallon of water, do not place in a cupboard for 20 days because it will turn to wine. Well, I'm not surprised. Do what you can, but the market adapts. Nikola Tesla's foot x-ray taken by himself on a machine he designed. 1896. Okay, God, can you just create a new sim of Tesla? Just copy and paste everything and just bring it back to the present, please. After a lifetime of having terrible teeth, this OP decided to do something about it 2 years ago. Here's the finished product, where they're finally all done.
Okay, no. You don't get to have the hair and the beard and the jawline like that.
I mean, he wins the genetic lottery all around there and then gets perfect teeth as well. Just, how dare you? In the months before his sudden death, Grant Imahara built a fully animatronic Baby Yoda to cheer up sick kids. He spent 3 months of his personal time designing, programming, and 3D printing the project. And he had plans to tour children's hospitals with it. Absolute legend. Though, honestly, I would imagine more kids will be freaked out than amazed. Don Rickles passed away before he was able to record any dialogue for Toy Story 4. Rather than replacing him, Disney reviewed 25 years of material from the first 3 films, video games, and other media. They were able to assemble enough dialogue to cover the entire film. Considering Mr. Potato Head is made up of a bunch of interchangeable parts, this makes sense. The Romans substituted criminals into plays for punishment. So, if a character died in the story of a play, a real criminal would die on stage.
Don't criticize method. It makes Robert De Niro one of the greats.
Woman with her heart after a successful transplant. So what you're telling me is she has 2 hearts right now?
Oh my God, it's the doctor. I love you, Jody.
In 1955, Playboy founder Hugh Hefner published a short story about a dystopian future in which heterosexuals were oppressed by homosexuals. It caused a firestorm, but Hefner said, if it was wrong to persecute heterosexuals in a homosexual society, then the reverse was wrong too. Let's just note that was 70 years ago. So when one says, oh, that's just how it was back then. No, clearly people knew it was wrong. They just didn't care. Good on you, Hugh, you pervert that I suddenly have a lot of moral respect for. Japan is still trying to figure out Christmas. I disagree. Japan has clearly done what they always do and grabbed something Western and made it better. Except for the anime adaptation of Powerpuff Girls, we won't speak on that. Seriously though, this tree is the ultimate Krampus deterrent. On the naughty list in Germany, just get a Godzilla. These are survivors of 1972 of the infamous Andes plane crash. They resorted to cannibalism to survive 72 days in the snow. Okay, I understand what you resorted to and why you resorted to it, but you can't be responsible for doing that and smile at the camera. Especially not when one of you clearly has sacrificed one of your limbs. I personally go great with some teriyaki sauce. Roger Moore stopped playing James Bond after A View to Kill, primarily because of how much older he was than his female co-stars. As a man in his 50s, he felt that playing romantic roles opposite women in their 20s would seem creepy. He was quoted saying, well, the leading ladies were young enough to be my granddaughter, and it becomes disgusting. Alright friends, now before we go, it's time for some beautiful fan art. Today's work is by someone trying Reddit. I mean, well done Gay Tries Reddit. I don't think you really need to try Reddit. You're either on it or you're not. How do you fail at attempting it? Anyway, while I figure out the paradox of that name, let's look at the fan art. Hey! Hey, up yours too! Yeah, but don't you chirp at me, making me feel all flirted at, giving me the up yours sign. How dare you? No, but seriously, thank you for your fan art, Gay Tries Reddit. And as always, if you yourself watching this video would like to see your own artwork in a new video one day, do so by posting your beautiful content in the EmKay subreddit itself. For now, though, that is the end of our time together. Thanks for watching as always. Glad to pop in when I have the time to say hello to you all and go through these ramblings together. Looking forward to being more frequent during the February and onwards. But until then, make sure you are subscribed and like this video to show your support and love for the channel. Check out the EmKay shop if you have not yet already. But anyway, until next time, my name has been Jack. You've been a lovely person to ramble with today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!